I've definitely had moments where I'm like talking to people outside the company or like senior leaders and I'm like nervous and I like say something that's very like TikTok and then I'm like, oh, like I internally cringe because like for us we're really hee hee hoo hee ha ha like
brain rot.
Yeah. And then sometimes I'll be in meetings and I'll be like, you're trying to code switch. I feel for this Gen Z because if she's new to the workforce, this might like be an important learning for her as well.
For me, the silly thing.
Like silly is
I
not.
use silly all the time.
Wait, is that a saying? Is that a trend?
With Gen Z, silly is like, it's so silly. You're so
Yeah.
silly. Like, oh my God, this was so silly.
The fact that we're doing this podcast for our job is a bit silly.
It is quite silly.
Yeah. What did someone say in the comments of one of our reels? They were like, we don't need another middle manager podcast. And I was like,
well,
sorry about it,
guys.
Yeah.
You've clocked into office hours with work besties Sohan and Hameda, helping you survive and thrive between 9 and 5.
We believe in work and play, so get ready to crush your career and live your best life.
Welcome to Navigating Work Chats. Am I the problem?
Yeah, so like when you have to communicate with any coworker, it's not as like it can get complicated.
It can get quite sticky, depending on the person, the context, the environment, the situation, who you are as a person, who they are as a person,
what gender they are as a person,
what kind of boss you have.
Yes,
definitely makes a difference.
It's really tricky because office environments and work environments have this like layer of like you need to be professional, and the same rules don't apply like in your personal life. Like sometimes you say how you feel, no problem. In a workplace, it's not that you can't have your feelings be known, but you might have to like be strategic about how you communicate
and who you make your feelings known to.
Yeah,
because it's not necessarily going to be the person who's causing you to have feelings.
Yeah, exactly. So these dilemmas, we're going to talk through some scenarios and give our take.
And I'm so excited. So let's bloody get into it. My coworker keeps translating what I say in meetings like I'm invisible. So I've got this coworker, let's call him Dan. Every time I speak up in a meeting, he feels the need to rephrase what I just said. For example, I'll say, we should probably merge those two reports to avoid duplicate work. Dan will immediately jump in with, yeah, what OP means is that we can optimize our reporting process by consolidating data streams. Like, dude, that's literally what I just said, but I said it in English. So true. It's gotten to the point where other people have started to notice, but he keeps doing it. Sometimes my manager even credits him for ideas I already said out loud minutes earlier because he's the one who reframed it. I don't want to be petty, but it's infuriating watching someone basically run your sentences through Google Translate for visibility points. How do you even call that out without sounding confrontational? Like, thanks, Dan, but I just said that? Or do I just let him keep doing his little TED summaries? TED Talk summaries, I should say. Oh my goodness. Oh my goody gosh.
Is this OP a woman? Because it's mansplaining, right?
It's giving mansplaining. And oh my gosh, I would genuinely say that's what I just said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's one way of doing it for sure. I think
not that you shouldn't do that.
No, you can. I feel like you could when you're in like a meeting with just your team, but if it's your colleague and it's just like a bunch of you guys, like then I feel like you could do that. And especially if other people are starting to notice, then like, well, here's old Dan repeating what old mate says again. You know,
it's like the same person, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels like they're not doing it with other people. It's literally just OP.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Maybe they have a crush on OP. And they're like, I want to impress them by repeating their ideas.
That is insanity, to be fair. I think this is something that I've learned along the ways is like yes and. So maybe what you could do is like only say half of your idea. I mean, I know this is pretty wild to like have on your mind at all times, but maybe when you're expecting Dan to jump in, only say half of your idea, let him repeat it, and then you can go, yes, and elaborate.
So true. And I almost think like eventually Dan will stop because he'll realize that you keep like doing that and bringing it right back around. But what if he just does the same thing for your yes and? But
then surely it will be really obvious then.
Like it just keeps going as a chain throughout the whole meeting. Like you keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's,
Because also I find it interesting that Dan is translating in like more corporate or like technical jargon. you know? Like, it feels like he's definitely trying to, like, prove something that, like, I am smart. Like, I feel like maybe he doesn't feel very skilled or doesn't feel very confident.
Ooh.
So
Like OP makes them insecure.
maybe.
So it's like, I'm also here.
Yeah.
I have ideas.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you don't. Because you're just repeating someone else's.
Yeah.
Where's the line between clarifying someone's idea and stealing their thunder? Like, have you ever...
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm like very mindful of shouting my team out when I'm relaying something that they've said. Like, I feel like that happens sometimes when, like, I might be in a meeting with, like, other managers or other leaders, and I'm referencing stuff that, like, has been talked about with my team. And I feel like I'll be like, oh, yep, like, the guys were chatting about this, or yep, the team, like, recommended this. There are certain instances where I might be in meetings with, like, other leaders or other managers, and we're working on, like, a strategy or some, like, workshop points. And I might relay what I've talked about with my team in those things. I don't think that's stealing someone's thunder, because that's how maybe jobs and conversations get moved forward. But if it's, like, someone's idea and, like, I want to give them the credit, like, you will mention, I'll be like, oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah was working on this, and we thought we would take it this way. But I think in terms of where the line is drawn is, like, what are you adding to it? Like, are you just repeating it? Or are you adding something to it?
And are you really clarifying it, or are you literally just repeating it in different language? Because it's obviously not clarifying if you're just adding random corporate jargon to someone's explanation. I don't know how you would approach this person to be like, hey, so you do this thing sometimes in meetings where you will just, I mean, that feels like very whiny and weird. Like, I don't even know how you would go, and because there have been instances, not necessarily this immediate, where, like, within a brainstorm, and actually not lately, this was, like, back in the day, we'd have, like, a brainstorm for ideas, and I would say an idea, and, like, no one really would hear it, or like someone would repeat it, and then they wouldn't clarify that it was me who said it, and then everyone gets really excited, and that thing goes viral or whatever. And in my gut, every time I see it, I'm like, that was my idea, but no one knows except for me, and I just don't know how to approach it. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, who cares? It's the idea that I brought up because I actually wanted to see it executed, and if it does well because I thought it would, and the business does well because of that, then I am benefiting regardless. Yeah. And to be fair, in those circumstances, it was ideas for things that I wouldn't be implementing. So I was like, I don't need to, like, get touchy about this. Yeah. Because it's not like I would have wanted to do that.
Like, when you're in a brainstorm and you're coming up with ideas, it is a collaborative thing. Like, ideas are getting thrown around. In that situation, I feel like if you did want to assert that it was your idea, is, like, jumping in again after and being like, yes, and the way that I saw that playing out was kind of like this. You know?
Yeah, but just to further clarify that, like, I said it first.
Yes.
But then it's like, does it matter?
Well, yeah.
And I think that's the context is important, right? If it's, like, important to your career development, although it probably would be, because it's like this extremely viral idea was one that I thought of. Therefore, I should really be getting the credit for that. But then, at the same time, it's like, pick your battles.
So this person's saying that it's in a meeting, in meetings, and like, it's, like, about, like, processes or, like, things like that. I honestly feel like people probably recognize what Dan's doing more than you might think. Like,
I also feel like it's, now that I've reread what Dan will say, it is kind of like, oh, you don't really know how to speak, so let me speak for you. Because what OP means, like, to me, I would not be okay with someone phrasing it like that. Because it's like, what do you mean? Everyone knows what I mean already.
Wait, so they are giving credit, but they're, like, undermining their, like, level of articulation.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, you know what you could do? Okay. Anytime Dan comes around with an idea, like, okay, like, I feel like we could optimize our reporting process by consolidating data streams. Like, yeah, what Dan means is we can merge those two reports to avoid duplicate work. Like, translate it back.
That's so smart. Because if I'm sitting in a meeting, and we are in meetings where someone would use language like optimize our reporting process by consolidating data streams, I would be so much more comfortable with someone just saying merge the two reports to avoid duplicate work.
Yeah. It makes more sense.
It makes more sense. It's not like random, you're just trying to sound smart. And also, like, OP has come in with here's why we're doing it. Whereas, like, optimizing reporting process, you're not actually saying the reason that it is being optimized, which is the duplicate of work. So your explanation is actually more
better.
clear. And
I also wonder, like, I want to know more about, like, what roles they're in, who they're talking to, because let's say Dan is, like, someone that has to work with external stakeholders and he knows his clients and he knows what kind of language they use, and then you're in a meeting with him and those people, maybe he's just trying to make sure that the right people understand what's being said in the language they use. I mean,
that's so true.
That could be, like, maybe what's happening. But if it's just within your team and, like, you know all the people in the room, then, yeah, I would just start translating his ideas.
Start translating. But also, I think on the Dan side, if you find that you are the Dan in the situation and your intention is to make sure the right people are hearing the right language, then I would say when it comes to a point where someone credits you for the idea, it is so important to be like, this person came up with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you would.
Or even, like, just maybe Dan, like, if his intentions were right and this was the situation, he would tell OP, like, hey, when we're in meetings with these stakeholders, like, can you try and, like, use certain language because, like, they just prefer hearing it that way. Like, they don't hear me when I say it in, like, layman's terms or whatever. And maybe that's an education piece. But I don't know, something about this makes me feel like that's not the case. I'm just trying to give a benefit of the doubt. Because, you know, as women, like, sometimes, you know, we've kind of all been in a situation where there's, like, a man that, you know, takes credit for your ideas and kind of steals the limelight and mansplains and, like, does all that. And it's very frustrating.
It is so frustrating.
But it's hard because I feel like you can't necessarily fight it with, like, you should be able to, but having that direct conversation could make things a little bit murky. So I think you've got to just suss the vibes. Like, if people are noticing, like, just maybe also understand that, like, people probably realize what's going on and they're not, you know.
Yeah.
They
or
hear
maybe
Dan repeating you.
brush up on your own corporate jargon language and start saying things in super complicated ways so that he literally can't translate, unless then he starts simplifying it.
Oh my God. That would be, I need a follow up, honestly.
I need to know more.
I like your approach better though, because it's less repeating the same, like, it's less giving the same energy as Dan by translating what he's doing. It's like, okay, just, I guess, trying to identify where the problem is, but also,
or, like, bring it up with your manager.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I've noticed Dan is doing something. Have you noticed that my language is not clear? Like, my communication, is there a way we can build on that?
Love that.
Even just to flag it with them, and then they'll start noticing it happening in the meetings because you pointed it out, whereas right now they probably have no idea.
Yeah.
But if you do say that and approach it as here's, like, how can I improve because I've noticed that this has been happening and I'm concerned. Then you're just drawing attention to it and Dan has no idea, and then Dan will continue, and then maybe your boss will be like, we understand.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah.
Leave her alone.
I love that. I actually love that approach a lot because, again, it's focusing on yourself rather than the other person. And yes, it might not be your fault. This might not be, like, your thing to fix, but in workplaces, sometimes you got to, like, play the game, move around in certain ways. And
be subtle.
Next dilemma. Oh, speaking of mansplaining, am I the problem for publicly calling out my coworkers mansplaining during my presentation?
Well, I guess we'll find out what would happen if you called her out.
Okay, let's do it. I, 24 female, work at a tech startup where most of my colleagues are men. I've been here for 2 years, and while I love my job, it hasn't been easy being one of the few women in a male-dominated space. Last week, we had a team meeting about our upcoming project. I spent weeks researching and preparing my presentation. When I started speaking, my coworker, 30 male, kept interrupting me with actually and, well, technically comments every single time. This guy has a history of mansplaining to female colleagues while never questioning the guys. So halfway through my presentation, when he interrupted me for the 5th time to correct something that wasn't even wrong, I stopped everything and said, if you interrupt me one more time, I'm going to start a tally on the whiteboard of how many times you've done it, and we can all analyze the pattern after the meeting. The room went dead silent. My boss looked uncomfortable but didn't say anything. The guy turned bright red and stayed quiet for the rest of my presentation. Afterward, some female colleagues quietly thanked me, saying they'd experienced the same thing. But my boss pulled me aside and said while he understood my frustration, I embarrassed a team member and should have handled it privately. Here's the thing. I've tried private conversations twice before with this guy, and nothing changed. My male colleagues interrupt each other all the time without consequences, but when I stand up for myself, I'm creating drama. My boss suggested I apologize, but I refused. Now there's tension in the office, and I'm wondering if I went too far. Am I the problem for calling out my mansplaining coworker in front of everyone?
Can I? Oh, so what is the other guy doing? Not embarrassing this like OP
Yes.
every time they
Exactly.
hello?
Okay, I just got like the full ick from this, and I just feel like this is a toxic male-dominated workplace.
Yep.
And you know what? It's so frustrating that we have to deal with things like this as women in the workplace, especially when there's men around, because they don't see like the standards are different.
It's like, yeah, it's the fact that the boss is so bold, I guess is the word I'll use right now, but to say things like that, like immediately just being like, you're the problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, have you not been at every single meeting beforehand where this has been happening? And also the way that she spoke out, I thought was very clever and like not weird or emotional or like if a man said that, everyone would laugh.
Yes. Which makes me like, that's why I got like really bad vibes from this, because it's like, I feel like this person, you know, handled it pretty well. Like it's internal meeting, like you tried the private conversations. It was happening constantly in the moment. It's hard, like, because, you know, there's a voice in my head that's like, oh, but like, how did she say it? Like, was she being really rude, or was it like done in a calm way? Which, I don't know, when you're analyzing a situation with such detail, you're like, maybe that would have helped. But really, it doesn't sound like any way of articulating it would have helped, because it sounds like a culture problem.
Yes, immediately I was like, toxic workplace culture. I'm
trying to think like, what if you were there and you had to say, what would you actually do? I mean, we just recorded, I don't know if the episode's out yet or if it's been out for ages, but we just recorded an episode with our head of HR. And now I'm just like ready to go to HR for everything. Do you know what I mean? Because
genuinely,
like the wisdom she gave, and you know, what she talked about HR. So I'm like, maybe go to HR because okay, what I would kind of want to get out from a meeting with HR is like, okay, I feel like there may need to be some more education in the team about the patriarchy, sexism in the workplace and how it manifests. People may roll their eyes at like mandatory education, but I have seen in my career repetitive education about things when you do it yearly and it's mandated, and you're sitting through it like, oh my God, got to get through this like thing, like presentation with a quiz at the end. But when that information is drilled into you on a regular basis, it can change the culture slowly.
Yeah.
So that feels like one of the only routes forward that I can see right now. That's like workplace safe.
I think going to HR and then seeing how they respond, because if they carry the same culture through HR, in which case like they would be like, okay, I understand that you were frustrated, but I think it would be best to mediate it by apologizing, I would leave. Yeah. So that's how you make your decision, basically.
But it's so hard because like this person works in tech, and I feel like tech as an industry is male dominated.
But that doesn't necessarily mean another male dominated tech company will be
toxic.
Exactly. Like I'm not going to sit here and say not all men, but I'm also not going to sit here and just imply that all of them are going to be toxic. I think that we've talked about situations with OPs being in male dominated spaces, and the males are big allies. So they do exist.
They do exist.
They're not, it's not an anomaly. Like things happen. Thankfully, we have been in very female-dominated workspaces, especially with management, which has been so great.
So great.
But if this was me, first of all, I mean, I think it's such a slay to say that, like, and just so be funny. Like, let me start a tally and we can study the pattern. Yeah, like it's actually like you're calling them out so well, amazing. And it worked because guess what? They were quiet. Yeah, so maybe they needed to be embarrassed.
I also think like something else you could do is like, you know how companies have like their values, and it's like, you know, there's values around like we do excellent work and we are productive, but then there's also values about like kindness and care. Yeah. If your company has values like that, have a look through and see if any are relevant to like just general being a good human being vibes, and use that as your anchor when having conversations with your manager or having conversations with HR. You can be like, look, one of our values is like equality. This is not an equal dynamic, and that needs to be addressed. It's what we stand for as a business, and I think there might be some blind spots that we need to address.
I think that's great.
know?
Yep. Yeah, use their guidebook against them.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the boss is the problem in this situation, to be fair.
They're probably the ones setting that culture.
Yeah. Ew.
My team member talks baby talk. How do I make it stop? I work in a place where we're serious about our work and interface with academics, community leaders, and other stakeholders regularly. One of my team members talks in a very unprofessional way and I need help sorting her out. Or maybe I'm just an old lady and I'm just being judgmental. I'm eager for feedback from others who have faced this issue in their teams. Specific examples include talking in a high-pitched, unnatural voice and using words and phrases that are straight from TikTok. It says TikTok Reels. Sorry, I'm not being ageist. But TikTok Reels. Okay.
TikTok Reels.
Just this morning. Sorry. Oh my God. Get it together. Just this morning, she describes an important program that we produced with a key stakeholder as silly. Silly. I stopped her and asked her why she would describe our work as silly. Sorry. This is actually I need to get through this so we can talk about it. And she turned red and apologized, explaining that it was just a saying. Oh my God, poor thing.
Oh.
She's good at her job and I'd like to help her grow. In her last review, I told her that I was giving her more responsibility, but if she wants to be taken seriously in those tasks, she needs to communicate professionally. It worked for a week or so, but she's fallen back on her old ways.
Ooh.
It is unprofessional, but it also makes me want to bang my head against the wall. Yes, she's Gen Z. That said, I raised 2 Gen Z kids and spent a lot of time with them and their friends, so I'm pretty familiar and comfortable with phrases and generational differences. This is extreme. Help me. I don't think it's... Okay, maybe it is.
But okay, the thing that got me with this one is like it's with external stakeholders.
Yes, and community leaders, academics. I'm thinking like very important people that you have to be very respectful towards.
Yes.
And it sounds like it's not a situation where she's only engaging in that kind of communication with internals.
Yeah.
It seems like she might be doing stuff like that externally.
Like I've definitely had moments where I'm like talking to people outside the company or like senior leaders and I'm like nervous and I like say something that's very like TikTok and then I'm like, oh, like I internally cringe because like if you default to your natural state of communicating, which I know for us already, like
brain rot.
Yeah. And then sometimes I'll be in meetings and I'll be like, you know, you're trying to code switch, but if you are nervous, like, yeah, so I feel for this Gen Z because at the same time, I also think if she's new to the workforce, this might like be an important learning for her as well.
And I love that OP is trying to help her with that.
Yeah.
I do think for me, the silly thing,
like silly is
I
not,
use silly all the time.
Wait, is that a saying? Is that a trend?
It's like, the thing is, right, silly technically means not necessarily something positive, but like I feel like with Gen Z, silly is like, it's so silly, you're so silly, like oh my God, this was so silly. So I see why someone who isn't familiar with the way that the term is used in slang with Gen Z would think that she's kind of making fun or like being like that's like child's play, like so silly.
That's like, oh my God, the way I didn't even clock the
that's why I was laughing.
Yeah, because
I say silly all the time.
The fact that we're doing this podcast for our job is a bit silly.
It is quite silly.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't take offense to someone being like, oh my God, you guys have a corporate work like podcast. Yeah. That's so silly.
What did someone say in the comments of one of our reels? They were like, we don't need another middle manager podcast. And I was like,
well,
sorry about it,
guys.
Yeah.
We have a lot to say.
Yeah. Let's say, like, how would you want to be coached through something like this? Like, let's say, oh, I'm your manager now. So let's say I had to.
Oh my God.
I was gonna be like, if you're manager, like, but like, okay, if you were the Gen Z in this story, like, how would you want to be told? I mean, they've already actually, they already said that they've like done
tried
that.
And then it didn't work for a week or so. Here's the, I don't like. We're so lucky.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a personality trait for us to be able to use those phrases and terms because we are on the internet. Yeah. And for us not to be across it is more detrimental.
It's like embarrassing.
Exactly. You don't want to be a boomer in media.
No.
You want to be on everything.
You want to be silly.
Exactly. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I understand Tum Tum Sum Sum or whatever the hell these kids are watching, but I get why they're interested in it.
Yeah.
And if I try to sit down with this OP and say tum tum sum sum, she'd probably be like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't even think that's the correct phrasing, but you know what I'm talking about. So that's all that matters.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know this trend, but that's
Oh,
okay.
I'm just talking about Gen Alpha brain rot.
Oh,
Like
okay.
what are they? Italian brain rot? There you go.
Ballerina cappuccina, me. Yes. Okay.
Do not get it. I am not entertained
Right.
by it. However, I'm looking at it and I'm like, as someone who was sitting at her PC with the giant monitor and the freaking gigantic big block PC watching Nyan Cat going
Oh, yeah.
for like 6 hours straight, I have no room to judge these children.
Yeah.
Because I was them.
Yes. Well, yes.
And now we have to have that in mind while we're consuming media, the internet. We're always on the internet, so we're getting the references, or at least we're hoping we do.
Like
and if
trying
we
to
don't,
learn
our Gen
them.
Z co-workers will explain them to us. If I was in a situation and environment now, if I pivoted into like government, I think I just wouldn't speak for like at least 6 months until I like was able to phase it out in the workplace. Because I would open my mouth and go, slay, go piss, girl.
Oh
like,
my God.
I'm not sitting here telling a 60-year-old man who's been working for the government for 20 years, go piss, girl. But I might do it here.
Sorry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because no, I'm just literally like all these memories are coming back to me of moments where I've been like talking to like our national sales director and I'm like, slay.
Yes.
But he loves it.
Exactly,
like he's chill, so it's fine. I'm just like, God.
And we're in media.
We're in media.
It's like they expect it. They expect it.
I think that what the way OP should approach is instead of a Gen Z versus me thing, like you need to like change the way you think, have some empathy, be like, listen, we all have our like brain rot vices or whatever it is. Like I know you're on TikTok. I like to watch, what is a boomer show? Like
Antiques Roadshow.
Antiques Roadshow, you know? But
I love Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah. But you know, I think like get on their level and be like, we just have to be mindful about these stakeholders because like they don't get it. And like, well, I get it. Like I know this is what you enjoy. Like we have to kind of be a bit more aware of like how they perceive because it could affect the business goals and like explain the impact of how that will impact the KPIs, but not in a way that's like, you've got to stop doing this. More like I get it. Let's try and like we, not you.
Yes.
I feel like that's probably but I think at the same time, if you have already had that conversation with them and they've like kind of improved and then gone back, have another one, be clear, be direct, like explain the impact, but like get on their level a bit.
And even like, I would say if there's an opportunity for like projects where they can utilize that knowledge and that passion for internet culture, I'm sure that there could be some way for you to like integrate that and maybe like that's their outlet for like those fun little cheeky quirky moments. And then like when they're doing their serious stuff, they can stay serious.
Yes.
And it's like showing that you value their identity, their personality, the way that they communicate while also like providing them space to do all those things. But then hopefully that then mitigates all the other, because also high-pitched voice. Sometimes people around me in the office talk in a baby voice and it makes me very uncomfortable.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm going to call them out. Calvin, please stop talking in a baby voice.
Wait, Calvin does it?
All the time.
Oh my God, Calvin.
All the time.
Not Calvin getting called out on the podcast without a voice to speak for himself.
He speaks in baby voice. This is, I don't know, he's what, 26?
Yeah.
26-year-old Gen Z dude.
But this is also internal, like just to us, like he's great.
Yes. No, he's not. I'm sure he's not walking around. I
feel like maybe we should
doing baby talk.
Should we not say this?
I don't care. He's not going to care. I've told him so many times. I hate when he talks in baby talk. Please stop talking in baby talk. I'm trying to think of like an example of what baby talk is. It's like, I spilled my soda. I don't know. How does he talk? I'm hungry. Do you know what I mean? He does that. And I'm like, stop it.
But it is
very much internal. Like, and he's doing it as a joke. It's not like,
it's like ironic.
Yeah. And I think it's just like a Gen Z language thing where like they must have just been doing it and it became like a thing. Now they talk in baby voice sometimes.
But baby talk specifically is so cringe. Like, do you have any couple friends that talk in baby talk to each other while you're there?
No. And I would immediately tell them to stop.
Yeah.
Do you?
I have in the past, yeah. And it's kind of,
It's wild.
Yeah. It's like baby talk. Yeah.
The way I had to ask our producer to do it because I couldn't even
Yeah,
think
yeah,
of how
yeah.
to talk in baby talk.
Like the only baby talk I do is when I'm talking to my cat.
Oh, well, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. That's not like,
We don't even want to do it now because it's so gross.
I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get being like
Yeah.
icked out by someone talking in voices that you're like, please just use a regular voice.
Yeah.
But the words and phrases that are straight from TikTok reels, I think that's fine.
I think that's fine. Yeah.
It's just referencing like pop culture moments.
Yeah.
Really.
I think, there's definitely something to say for a level of professionalism in the way you speak, especially when you're talking to external stakeholders who, what do they say, like academics and stuff?
Academics,
community leaders. Like, this is definitely a learning for this Gen Z and for any of you guys listening. Like, even if you have a hee hoo hee ha hee team, just be mindful when you're like presenting to external people. And, you know, if you're unsure, just play it safe for a bit until you suss the vibes for real. You know?
If you absolutely are like, no, this is me and this is how I want to talk, you might want to pivot into a different business because you might find a space where like everyone's making references and
totally
saying silly.
Yeah.
The silly thing is so funny to me.
I also just find it weird how it's like, oh, my team member talks baby talk and then their example is like silly. Like baby talk and referencing TikTok reels are so different.
I know, and that's why I'm like, is the high-pitched unnatural voice what they mean by the baby talk, which is what I imagine.
Yeah, is it just a trend that they're saying maybe? Like
that's what I mean. I think it's a Gen Z, like they talk in baby voice. Like, I'm a little baby.
Do they? I've literally never...
They fully do.
All I know is this one where it's like...
Well, it's like that, but with words.
Okay, I kind of hate it.
I feel like you're going to start noticing now that we've talked about it.
Guys, I'll report back.
Anyway, okay. I feel like we've talked enough about this.
Yeah. All right, next dilemma. Would I be the problem if I asked my boss to tell my coworker to stop bringing her kids into the office? Oh my God.
Ooh.
I, female 23, work in a small office of 5 people. My coworker, female 40-ish, recently brought her 2 kids, 5 and 9, into the office for the full workday. It was total chaos, loud, bickering, watching shows on full volume, running around, picking up phones, just everywhere. I have sensory issues and the noise made it nearly impossible to focus. I ended up postponing several tasks because I genuinely couldn't get anything done. This isn't the first time she's brought her kids in. Sometimes it's one for part of the day, but this was the first time both were there all day. Our boss is often out when this happens, so I'm not sure he knows or would approve. To make things worse, the kids were clearly sick, and now I've woken up with a sore throat and chest congestion. I have asthma and other sensitivities, so this really hits me harder than most. Another coworker is pregnant, and I'm worried about her exposure too. I don't have kids, and I understand parenting can be hard. One of our other coworkers sometimes brings his dog, which doesn't bother me at all. But this situation feels completely out of line, and I'm frustrated, exhausted, and honestly a little angry. Would I be the problem if I brought this up to our boss?
Oof. I fully understand the sensory issues thing.
Yeah.
I get so overstimulated when I'm around my nieces and nephews.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like there's too much noise.
Yeah, I feel like... Also, like, I get so distracted if there's a pet in the office. Like, as soon as someone brings a dog to the office, no work is getting done. I'm babysitting the dog. I'm, like, going to pat the dog every 5 minutes. Like, it is a distraction.
Mm-hmm. Especially in, like, an office of 5 people.
Yeah.
That's, like, it's a tiny office.
Yeah.
It's so small. You would definitely feel the disruption.
Yeah. Look, I don't think you would be the problem if you brought it up to your boss. I do think that if this was a one-off, like maybe this parent was just in like a really like dire state and like had no other option.
Yeah.
But maybe your boss can facilitate like, okay, this mum can like work from home that day with her kids instead of bringing them to the office.
Mm-hmm. That would, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or it's so hard. Children in workplace dilemmas. I feel like we've had a couple before. And I mean, she must have gotten permission to bring her children in. 2 kids. Feels
for
like
the whole workday.
For the whole workday. And one of them is a 5-year-old.
And they're both sick.
And they're sick. Oh, that's too much. Stay home, girlie.
Just stay home, work from home.
Yeah. Or just like take carer's leave.
Yeah.
and look after your children.
It's hard because it's like for this person, like they're a coworker. Like they wouldn't have the authority to like tell the person that. So I think you actually should bring it up with your boss and be like, look, I understand this might have to happen sometimes, like, but like maybe she could work from home instead. Like I got sick from it. Like it means that I'm not productive. Or if they have to come into the office, can I go and work from home for the day?
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
It's like I'm feeling overstimulated. May I please work from home today? Because I can't get anything done.
Yeah.
And that's so understandable.
So fine.
Because I feel like because we have quite a large office, I sometimes will turn my head and there'll be a child.
Oh, there's been children here too, for sure.
Not that they're loud. No. They're actually never loud.
And I'm kind of like, oh, do you want to come and like help?
Do you want to see what we do?
Yeah.
Because we are cool. That's just because you don't have children in your life.
Yeah.
I do. And I'm like, please stay away from me.
That's so true. Like, I literally have no, anyway. That's okay. It's different topic.
But as someone who regularly sees children, when I see a child here, first of all, I'm like, oh, bring your child to work day.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Or I'm like, oh, must be school holidays. And that's how I'll usually know that it's school holidays.
Yeah.
But it's like, because it's such a large space, I think we don't get we're
not affected by it.
No. They're either like they're very quiet or like they are being silly, but it's like so far away that I'm never going to see it.
Yeah.
However, if it was like a small office.
5 people.
And then that's like almost half of the office is now children.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're basically babysitting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on top of that, germs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, sick children. I'm like, I love children. I love parents. You're amazing. Thank you for doing what you do. But sick children are so gross.
Well, yeah.
They are so gross.
Yeah.
There's so many liquids coming out of them.
Right.
And crust everywhere, and their hands are always disgusting. I don't think the 9-year-old's probably fine.
Right.
But like the smaller child, especially if the mother's doing work.
Sorry, we just heard a weird sound in here. Sorry, it's giving noises by Pink Pantheress. I think I hear something from my living room.
It was
sorry.
Like,
what the fuck is that? Anyway, sorry guys. Delusional.
But yeah, I would not, I'm trying so hard not to be mean because it makes it sound like I'm a child hater. What is it, like Cruella de Vil? That's Dalmatians. But if a child with a grotty hand grabbed my phone and got their grottiness on it, that would be my last straw. If I spent a day trying to tolerate their screaming, and then I'm like, I go to grab my phone and it's like got snot on it.
Ew.
Oh, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm leaving immediately.
Well, yeah.
So I get it.
Of course.
But I wouldn't tell it to the coworker, like you said. I would go to the boss and I would just essentially, like you said, solutions focus.
Yeah.
Can this person work from home or can I work from home? Because I will get overstimulated by this.
Yeah. Definitely tell your boss.
Yeah, I think definitely bring it up to the boss. And not in did you know that this happened?
Yeah.
So the other day when XX brought her kids in, I was like, I had to like delay tasks because I was overstimulated and things didn't get done. And I just wanted like to see if it's okay that the next time if something like this is going to happen, if I can work from home.
Yeah. And then they'll also be like, wait, what? That's not allowed. They should work from home. And then and then it's their problem.
And
not
then
yours.
you can be like, oh, I didn't know. I think like I have no information. You should speak to that person. And then just completely clear yourself from the situation.
Totally.
I
feel for this parent because I feel like maybe they thought it would be easier to just bring the kids in like the situation they were in than like ask the boss to work from home. But yeah, I feel like, you know,
I
parents
also feel like parent your children. Why are they running around grabbing people's phones? Like, why are they doing all this? And they're sick.
Yeah.
Like, tell them to sit down. Give them the watching things on full volume. Why don't they have headphones?
I know. It's a hard one because I feel like, you know, we need to have flexibility for parents and like working mums. But I think that means like let them work from home so we're not disrupting the entire office.
Exactly.
Because, you know, there's going to be times when like, oh, kids are sick, no daycare, no babysitter, you need to sort it out. Like that should be allowed. But let's not get this person with asthma or pregnant people sick in the process.
And then I really hope that your workplace has good practices because I do think that the mother should have just taken a sick day and stayed at home with her children instead of coming into work and bringing her kids in there. Because like, is that necessary?
Yeah.
It feels unnecessary. I feel like you should be looking after your child. If I was a child, as a former child, if I was sick, The last thing I want to do is go to work with my parent.
True. You'd be so bloody bored and out.
Yep.
Oh my God.
It sucks. It would suck for everyone involved, except for that one person who was the mother. Like, so just, and I know that's probably not the way that the mother was thinking, but it's like facts are facts.
Yeah. I also, one last thing on this dilemma is that, like, because it's an office of 5 people, that's giving like small, like, we are a family vibes. And that might have contributed to the reason why the mum thought they could bring their kids in. It's like, oh,
so
it's just
true.
like, but you know, you'd hesitate before bringing your kids into an office of like 200 people, you know?
Yeah.
But interesting. I think you are not the problem bringing it up to your boss. So slay.
No.
And I think that's actually the end of our dilemmas for this week. So
wow. Some fun ones.
I know some fun ones. Well, submit your dilemmas to us.
Yes, we would love to hear them directly from you and give you advice. And I promise I won't make fun of you or your children.
Yeah, for sure. We make that promise. We've got a form in our link in bio on Instagram and TikTok. You can Instagram DM us at officehoursbf, or you can email us officehours@valmorgan.com.au. Thanks for clocking in.
We will see you next time.
Bye. Office Hours with Sohan and Hameda is a Val Morgan Digital production and part of the BuzzFeed Australia network. Have a question or topic you want us to cover or a workplace dilemma you want us to unpack? Send us a DM on Instagram at officehoursbf or drop us an email on officehours@valmorgan.com.au.
For more, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at officehoursbf. You can follow Sohan on socials at Sohan Judge and follow Hameda on socials at It's Hameda.
Our music is by Jasic. Make sure to hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss an episode. And if you like what you hear, please rate us 5 stars and tell your friends to clock in.